Hi everyone, Melissa here. In today's video, I want to talk about choice and the role it plays in manifesting. And I've talked a lot in other videos about how your perception is your power. This is the same thing, just in a different way. And I really just intend that this helps you to see things from a different perspective and really, really know the 3D is not the power, you are the power. Your internal world is the power. Your assumptions, beliefs, choices of thought are the power. Okay, so I want to start this video off by giving you a new perspective in general on what happens in your life or what has happened up to this point. Okay, so just because it's the only thing you know or the only way you've experienced something or the only thing you've seen, this relates to any desire, just because you've only ever seen something this one way, you've only ever experienced something this one way, it doesn't mean that's the only way that's true and possible. That doesn't mean that that's the only way it can ever be. So try to open up your mind just to that idea. Just because I thought things were this one way and I've only ever experienced it this one way, or I've only ever experienced this person this one way, it doesn't mean that's the only truth. It doesn't mean that's the only option. It doesn't mean that's the only way that this can be. You know, there are infinite perceptions, there are infinite possibilities, there are infinite ways you can perceive something, think about something, experience something. So if you've been trying to manifest something consciously for a long time, or if you haven't and you've just only ever had certain experiences in love, in money, in health, start to insert the idea that just because this is the only experience I have had thus far doesn't mean this is the only way it is. It doesn't mean everything is not black and white, is what I'm trying to get at. You know, there's a huge rainbow of possibilities, and when you allow yourself to accept that, even just a little bit, you're opening up your world for bigger, better, more in line with your desire experiences. So when you feel stuck, use that thought to help get you unstuck. I'm only stuck because I think this is the only way it is. I'm only stuck because I can't figure out any other way this could possibly go. I'm only stuck because I've never seen anybody come out of this any other way or any examples of success from this point. So I'm looking at it from a limited perspective. You know, the same thing with people. If you have this bad opinion of somebody, or you've had a bad experience with somebody, let's just use an example. Let's say you think someone in your life is just always really critical of you or demeaning, right? They're mean to you. You've only ever experienced them that way. Where you got that belief could be from multiple things that happened and you inferred that meaning from it. Could be something they said or did. Whatever it is, could be something you heard from somebody. Whatever it is, you chose to install the belief within yourself that this person is always mean. Examine that choice. If it's a choice that's leading to thoughts that you don't like, that's leading to experiences that you don't like, here's the power. Here's where you have your power. You can choose to start seeing them a different way. You can choose to start changing that belief. You can choose to start assuming better. When you assume better, you get better. Always, always. Because you're out here is just reacting to your assumptions. You know, your subconscious mind does not judge whether or not you can have something. It doesn't say this is right or wrong. You know, the only filter is, what am I going to feed it? What am I going to tell my subconscious mind is true? And the way you do that is when you assume something, when you believe something, when you give something meaning, when you look at an experience and say, oh, that was good or that was bad. When you look at something somebody did or said and that was good or that was bad, you're giving the direction to your subconscious mind that this is how this person is, this is how this thing is, and so therefore that's what's going to produce in your out here experience. So when I think about choice, I think about freedom. It's very easy to get caught up in out here when something seems like it's going so bad, and you lose your footing, and you give all your power away to that thing that seems so bad, or that person that did something that was so awful or unforgivable, or the circumstance that just feels unsolvable, the problem that feels unsolvable. But your freedom from that problem, your freedom from that unwanted circumstance, your freedom from that perceived bad relationship, your freedom from constantly being in the cycle of, I don't like this isn't fun, it's not good for me, I don't want it, is your choice. Your freedom is your choice. Choose something better to start assuming. Choose a better thought, any better thought. How can you assume better about that person, place, or thing? Because when you assume better, you're going to experience better, which is going to directly show you oh, what I thought was permanent and true and how I only ever experienced it before actually was completely not true, because everything is changeable via my choice, via the choice of the thoughts and assumptions and beliefs that I hold. Thoughts, assumptions, belief, it's all the same thing. It's just, what are you accepting as true about this thing? What is the meaning you are giving something? You see a circumstance, you immediately don't like it. The meaning you're giving it is, this is bad. I don't like it. I don't want it. It's opposite of what I want. And then from there, if you don't catch yourself, your mind's going to introduce more thoughts that align with it. So then it's going to be like, oh, this is really bad, and this is why, and this is why, and this is why, and then this is going to happen because now this happened, and this person's going to think this because now this happened, and then you start to get in this spiral of unwanted truths, of new beliefs that you're picking up, again with no evidence out here. It's all in here, but because of one choice, because you chose to agree with, believe in, accept a thought that you didn't like, that you didn't prefer. The truth is subjective. It's subjective. You can look at the same, two people can look at the same experience and have a completely different outcome. Let me rephrase that. Two people can look at the same circumstance and have a completely different experience with that circumstance because of the choices they are making with the meaning they're giving the circumstance. I'll give an example. And I'm pretty sure I've given this example in another video before, but let's say the circumstance is being ghosted, which in and of itself is a perception, right? But let's say that's the circumstance. So person A has been talking to somebody, and all of a sudden that person stops talking to them. Person B has also been talking to somebody, and that person also stops talking to them, okay? How they choose to perceive that circumstance, the meaning they choose to give it, is how they're going to experience it moving forward out here. So person A decides, oh, they haven't stopped talking to me. They haven't cut me off. They just got busy. They'll reach back out. I intend that they're okay, and they're going to reach back out as soon as they can. They're not going to have one more negative thought about it. They're going to hold that truth. They're just going to assume better. They're going to make a choice to assume a better meaning about it. And that's the experience they're going to end up getting back in their 3D. That person is going to reach back out, and it's going to confirm the belief that they chose to assume about it. Person B is going to be ghosted and assume, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I'm rejected. They're never going to talk to me again. They're going to, oh no, now they're probably going to talk badly about me to their friends, and they're probably dating somebody else already. And you see how the mind just spirals in thoughts of the direction of your choice. So that's the experience they're going to end up having with that exact circumstance. The circumstance on its own is neutral. It's the choice you make about the meaning you're giving it. It's the choice you make about how it affects you. It's like I talked earlier in a video about practicing being unbothered. That's about making a better choice. If you have a circumstance and you react and you're super bothered by it and you get super upset, and believe me, I have done this in my own life. It happens. We are human. You forget your power, you react to something, you choose thoughts that make you feel bad about whatever is going on. That's a moment for you to practice being unbothered, to catch yourself and stop the reaction and practice assuming something better. Practice being unbothered, because the thing that you're unbothered about is what you're creating moving forward. Like, it's another way to say what you resist persists. If you see something in your reality and you don't like it, if you keep focusing on that thing that you don't like, and then it keeps making you feel bad, and you're just in this cycle about, I don't like this makes me feel bad. I don't like this, I'm going to assume the worst. I don't like this makes me feel terrible, and people are going to do this and this. Your thoughts are attached to that. I don't like this makes me feel bad. Guess what? That circumstance is never going to change in the direction of your desired experience, because all you're doing is constantly choosing to perceive it in the way that you don't like. You're giving it the meaning that what you don't like is true about it, what you don't want is true about it. So everything always comes down to choice. What are you going to choose to accept as truth about whatever the circumstances you're trying to change? Let's say it's money. If you have struggled with money your entire life, and you are trying so hard to manifest wealth and abundance, but you're constantly noticing that you don't have money, and you're constantly letting that make you feel bad, and then you're constantly, you're catching yourself with some affirmations, but then you're reacting when a bill comes that you can't pay, and you immediately go back to the I don't have money story. That's a choice. You're choosing to keep recognizing a lack mentality. You're choosing to keep noticing, and actually it's not even a lack mentality, it's just you're choosing to keep noticing an abundance of lack versus an abundance of wealth. So you have to choose different thoughts. You have to break the habitual pattern of thoughts, the habitual thoughts that you have about whatever the thing is that you're trying to change. If you have a lack consciousness, if you are aware of being poor or broke, you are choosing that identity every time you think, I don't have enough, I can't afford this. So you have to start putting into your awareness the possibility of a new truth for you in order for that to start showing up in your reality. So you start choosing a better thought about it. You start changing your story. So how can I choose wealth consciousness instead of poverty consciousness? How can I choose abundant thoughts? So start from there. Okay, if the thought is, I can't afford this, how could I choose a different way to perceive that? Okay, maybe I can't see in the 3D right now how I could afford it. That's me focusing on the how, because maybe the money's not in my bank account right now, so I can't see how I could afford this. I'm not going to make that mean that I can't actually afford it. I have to start changing that habitual pattern of thinking in order for the circumstance to change. So instead it would be, no, I always have enough. I always have more than enough. I always have a surplus. Money comes to me from everywhere. Money comes to me every day, all the time, from a million different places. I'm constantly receiving money. People love giving me money. I earn money every single day. I'm a high value person. Money just shows up in my lap. You start choosing a new, better thought, a new, better assumption, and then you get better out here. But the trick is, stop using out here as your proof. Start using out here as your judgment of whether or not it's true, because that's a choice too. You choosing to see no movement, you choosing to see the lack of success, you choosing to see someone in a bad light, it's just putting you right back into that story that you don't want to experience. So you have to be aware that just because I can't see it out here yet doesn't mean it's not true. It doesn't mean it's not true. Choose better. Choose better so you can get better. Choose better so you can experience better. My favorite, one of my favorite things to always remind myself is, in moments of reaction, in moments where something triggers me, in moments where I'm perceiving something really bad that I don't like, how can I assume better in this moment? How can I calm myself down, practice being unbothered, and how can I assume better? Anything better, any better thought. How can I assume anything better? Just try it. What do you have to lose? Number one, choosing to see something in a light that you don't prefer, choosing to accept a permanent truth about something that you don't prefer, it makes you feel terrible because it doesn't align with what you want, right? We're all trying to experience what we want, more of what we want, less of what we don't. So what do you have to lose by assuming something better about whatever it is you're trying to manifest? Making the choice of a better thought. And any momentum in that direction is good momentum because you're shifting the narrative in your mind. You're shifting, remember, this is all about what you're feeding your subconscious mind. It doesn't judge whether it's right or wrong. It just says, okay, yes, okay, yes, okay, yes. So when you assume better, your subconscious mind, okay, yes, it always agrees with you. So if you don't want to experience being rejected, being broke, being disrespected, being unappreciated, being unloved, being unwell, any of those things, then don't assume that it is so. Don't agree that it is happening to you and continues to happen to you. Notice when you're agreeing with that, when you're perceiving that experience, and change the story. Choose a better story about it. Choose to perceive better, because out here is not where the power is. The power is here in your choice. So I know, and believe me, I know it can be hard to not get caught up in what's going on out here because things happen, we react. It's just it's how we are built. We are humans, we have emotions, we look at things, and if you've got a story alive within yourself that you're not good enough, maybe you don't even know that it's there, but something's going to happen, and whatever that person does or says, or whatever the thing is that happened, it's going to trigger that you immediately feeling you're not good enough. If you don't catch that and start to choose a better story about it, you're going to perceive all these things in your life that prove back to you that you're not good enough. But that's not really true. It's just you're choosing to think that it is. You're choosing to assume that it is. You're choosing to assume the worst. So how can you assume better? How can you assume the best possible case scenario? And I guarantee you, when you do that, it's going to manifest, but even better. I'm constantly surprised when I change my story about something and I start assuming better. I'm always happily surprised by the manifestation that ends up showing up, because it's always better than I could have ever expected. So you can also start intending that everything I manifest is better than I could have ever expected. My desires always show up better than I could have ever expected. And also, allow this to be easy. Allow it to be easy. If you believe in belief itself, then you can also believe that beliefs can change, right? So believe that beliefs can change easily. Believe that it's easy for you to change a belief. It's easy for you to change your mind. One minute you can want vanilla ice cream, the next minute you can want chocolate. That's how easy it is to change a belief. But it's what choice are you making? What are you choosing to hold on to? After you start to change a belief, you start to tell your new story. Are you then choosing thoughts that support that? Because if you're not actually choosing your new story. You're just going right back to your unwanted desire, your unwanted truth, I should say. So I hope this made sense. I felt like I was rambling a little bit, but what I really just wanted to convey in this video is the power is in your choice. It's your choice of meaning you're giving things. It's your choice of how you're going to continue to perceive something. It's, after a reaction, what are you going to choose to assume is still true about something or someone? And also start telling yourself it's easy to shut out the 3D and go within. It's easy for me to shut out whatever's going on out here and go within. Practice that. Along with me, it's easy for me to be unbothered by something that at first glance I don't like. At first perception, I think is something working against me that I don't want. Because all that's just notifying you of a belief you have that you might want to change if you want to experience something good rather than something you don't prefer. So this is easy. You can do it. It's all about your choice. What are you going to choose to think about today? How are you going to choose to think about something today or someone today? Not even today, right now, in every now moment. How can you assume better? How can you choose a better thought? Use that. If you get nothing else from this video, how can I assume better? How can I choose a better thought versus what I was just thinking that makes me feel bad, that equals what I don't want? Okay? I intend this video helped you. I intend you have an amazing rest of your week. I'm so thankful you're here. Thank you for watching. And if you have any comments about videos you would like to see or just anything, success stories, whatever, put it in the comments. I love to hear from everyone. And I think that's it for this video. All right, I'll see you in the next one.